Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Mike.
I'm Duran.
And Duran, you got a question for us today?
Yeah, what's the problem with everybody being afraid to upgrade?
Upgrade how?
Upgrade your life. Why do we get stuck in such a rhythm of sadness and poverty? We get somewhere, we get comfortable, and we make baby steps when we could be making giant monumental steps. And we get afraid of the next step to the point to where you don't see it. You don't even visualize. You're like, you know what? I can never have X, Y, and Z. I can never do X, Y, and Z. And it's like, in actuality, you can.
I think people are afraid of being uncomfortable. And I think that would be my reasoning behind it, because when you start to upgrade and move away from what you're used to and what's comfortable to you, you're living in that uncomfortability and until it's comfortable. And I think a lot of people don't like that unsureness. You know, I saw a post on Facebook with somebody holding keys to a U-Haul truck. And she was like, I don't understand why people are scared to just pack up and move for a good job. Like, if you have no kids, you have nothing tying you down, why would you not move to a different city that's going to pay you twice as much to do a job? And then you can get established, buy you a house, do all of this. And it comes down to comfort. Some people are legit. They are okay with scraping by as long as they're comfortable in their situation or surroundings, compared to busting their ass, getting in the uncomfortable, growing, and continuing to grow over their full life.
So here's my rebuttal to that: is if grandma was staying in the hood, she gave birth to your mama or your daddy, so now they staying there, and then you come along. You got 3 generations of the same thing happening. You are afraid to essentially break a generational curse for what?
Well, I think that's a little different though, because when we talk about like other races, a lot of them live in the same neighborhoods and then turn around and buy houses in the same areas as well. They're just better neighborhoods.
Yeah, but I'm saying we not doing that though. That we just staying in this same house, in this same thing, in this same area because that's what you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
and
we're not upgrading. We're not changing.
I think when we talk about upgrade, there's 2 ways to look at it, because I don't think you necessarily all the time have to move from a neighborhood. Like, if my dream goal, you know, I've always said this, is like, if I can get to a point where I can buy a block, literally buy every house on the block, and then sell it back to people as a rent to own, so that now they own the houses in their neighborhoods. Like, essentially, going forward, I would love to see those houses passed down generationally, and like the people who grew up in those neighborhoods coming back and living there. And then we just keep the cycle going. Am I going to accomplish that? That's a big, big dream, right? But we're working towards it. I see it with other races, and they buy a house and then they'll buy the house next door or across the street or down the street, and then their kids move into it, and then next thing you know, like, it forms this wealth that continues to happen, and before we know it, this whole family is living on this block.
Right. But what's wrong? That's what I'm saying, is we don't even have the mindset to upgrade. But I ain't gonna say we, because in this podcast we talking about everybody, the fear of upgrading. I thought to myself, it's an excellent idea if 2-3 families move into a house that none of the families can afford, then everybody work from the inside out. So everybody get jobs, everybody go work. We know that you got this much debt. We know that you got this much debt. You got this much debt. Go to work. We put all the money to pay off your debt. Now y'all got all that money y'all been working towards to go buy a house or to buy a car.
We see it with Hispanic families all the time.
We do, but I don't want to put
racist.
Yeah, I know, but I don't.
But like, we see Hispanic families. There'll be 2 or 3 families, like grandma, grandpa, brother and sister, and their families each all move in. They're all working together. Like, and there's probably 6 or 7 incomes, and they pay this house off in 2 years, and then they'll go buy another house and do the same thing, and eventually there's 3. They each have their own house, because all paid off, because everybody's been putting in work to do that together, and we just don't have that anymore nowadays.
And right. So that's my thing is, why are we afraid to upgrade or do that? Because I don't want to keep saying we, because then it sounds like I'm saying me.
No, you're talking about people in general.
People in general. It's not a race thing, but you got us wanting to make it on our own and not give nobody else the credit, but at the same time, we limit ourselves so hard. You put a cap on it. Yes, some of it is a fear of not understanding and being uncomfortable, but if you're comfortable, it's a problem. You should always be uncomfortable.
You should, but some people just, they live in that comfort, and maybe it's because growing up they were uncomfortable.
But doubling down on it, it's a double-edged sword. So now I'm gonna say we. So we, as in Black people, been uncomfortable our entire lives. So why are you afraid of something that's gonna make you a little bit more uncomfortable for a greater success? Once you get a hold of something that's your own, the feeling that you feel is just, I can't explain it. Is you just know nobody can punk you out your spot. They can't take your stuff. They can't take nothing from you. You can't just come through and be like, you know what, all this is mine now.
But let's touch base on we as Black people, right? Are you going to be more comfortable surrounded in a neighborhood by other Black people who look like you, talk like you, like generally have the same interests as you? Or are you going to be more comfortable moving to an area predominantly white, surrounded by people who are looking at you like, I wonder what they do? They may or may not speak to you. They may or may not wave. Like, I mean, I've been in my house for 3 years here. It's a predominantly white area, and I've only spoken to one set of neighbors in my entire neighborhood in this 3 years I've been here.
I get what you're saying, but it's like you said, upgrading don't naturally mean that you got to move from the hood or move somewhere. When I say upgrade, I mean move your status up. So if you living on the poverty line, how about let's not rely on the government system to make it look like you balling, make it look like you doing something you're not. But essentially, you social media flexing, like, oh yeah, it's good, we going on trips, we got da 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 da. But in reality, you're not doing that. I went to work today, I've been grinding, and I got what you grinding for? What do you have to show for yourself? So you can be just as successful staying where you are. So don't think that I'm saying move out of your neighborhood to be complacent or uncomplacent somewhere else. I'm just saying when you upgrade your status, it's gonna be scary because you moving up. So essentially, like you said, people are in school, right?
Right. Upgrade.
So we learning. Well, I've learned that that's called increasing your human capital. So your human capital is your willingness to work and your willingness to change your circumstance. So that means your health has to be in order for you to move up, right? Because you can't do nothing if you're not healthy. Secondly, once you do decide to move up, how are you getting there? What are you doing to increase that? Yeah, you took out a loan, but what's going to happen once you finish or accomplish the goal for that loan? Essentially, now you've increased your value, right? Because now they have to pay you more money, certified on something.
Right.
You go to a job, you work there. So now we building up your 401k and we building up your connections, right? Which leads into another thing. So your human capital has gone up in just 4 years because you decided to go initiate school, right?
Yeah.
So that's the part that I'm saying is we don't even get the starter level to upgrading because everybody get complacent where they at. So you get complacent in shopping at the same 4 stores you go to. You can go to Price Chopper, Sunfresh, Save a Lot. It's better stores than that or different things. You'll never know if you don't never walk into Hy-Vee, if you don't never go to Sam's Club, if you don't never try a different gas station, if you don't never go nowhere.
Yeah, but I think that also comes back to that living in the uncomfortable because like you said, for Black people in the hood, that's all we know. That's our comfort. That's like we finally have our own area, our own space where we're comfortable. So for a lot of them, a lot of people in that area, in those areas, it's hard to step out of that into something new where you don't know how you're going to be viewed or judged or any of that. And for Black people, we've been viewed and judged our whole life. So why would we purposely place ourselves in a position to be viewed and judged, and in some situations nowadays, even things said to us that shouldn't even be said to another human being, right? So I think a lot of that complacency or not wanting to upgrade is that I am comfortable with the life that I'm in right now, which it's not bad, but what is that going to do for your next generation or for your kids? Are you showing them that it's okay to stay in the same spot and to struggle if you're struggling? Are you saying, hey, I'm okay where I'm at because financially I'm good, but you can't do anything else? Or are you saying, like, I'm at the peak of my career and this is where I want to stay and that's where I'm working at? And I think those are three different levels of comfort and complacency.
Yeah, but if you do that, then it's like putting, like you said, it's complacency. But on top of that, we ain't gonna never have a seat at the table if you don't never bring your chair.
Say that again.
You ain't gonna never have a seat at the table if you don't bring your chair. So if that's scaring you, you should go do it. If the reason that we don't have more people in those neighborhoods are doing those things is because everybody's afraid. And afraid of what? Look at it like this. In my opinion, the hood's not even the hood no more.
No, it ain't.
Let me tell you why. I got two reasons. I ain't even gonna do three because three gonna put them on their head. First reason, I took my son again and my whole family. We got in the car. We was doing errands. In the middle of the errands, their mother said, hey, can we go by where I grew up? So we went by, see how she grew up. Completely different neighborhood from where I grew up.
Yep.
Okay, some struggles, some memories. Okay, Now let's venture on down a little bit further where I grew up. Start to look a little strange. And my sons was looking confused, like, what is this? Where we start asking where this stuff is. I'm like, oh, we getting there. We get there. And when I drove by, the area that used to look so big to me was so tiny, and I actually got to see it in a grown-up vision. Now, I've been back several times. I go back from time to time, and all that stuff that was there, all them gang members, all that violence and all that, there's a park across the street. It used to, it's plants over there like that, plants that build stuff, smoke come out, whatever. So they didn't want the kids playing in an empty field, but we bad. We did cut a hole in the fence. Druggies didn't cut a hole there. Everybody going in and out the fence.
Yeah.
Now, guess what? They didn't turn the thing into a park and cleaned it up. It's a whole park over there.
Yep.
It's houses there, bulldozed, nothing but land. The apartments are they're like a little apartments from housing authority. So they like little shuffle houses that's all together. It's so tiny. Going back there, I drove all the way through, turned around in the driveway we used to play kickball back there. So small, so impoverished. I ain't seen not one gang member outside and nothing spray painted. Essentially, it's gentrified because now it's different races down there. It's not just black people. So now going back out, you see, oh, it's some white people that stay here. Oh, it's some Indians that stay there.
In a newly remodeled or rebuilt house.
And it's just like, people outside walking. When I was outside, when I was little, they wasn't doing that, man. It was junkies outside.
You was not walking for exercise.
You was not going nowhere doing none of that. When you rode your bike, you hit the corner and came back. You was not going nowhere with your bike. It wasn't none of that. None of them houses wasn't painted. The numbers wasn't on the houses. And even still, it was an impoverished area. The second thing is, exactly what you said. People walking now. So now it's different people that's in the hood buying stuff and doing stuff. So they're taking the area that we've been comfortable in and they live in there. So why can't we do the same thing and move somewhere else? And on that note, we're going to go ahead and end this one with the question to you all. Why are people so afraid of upgrading to the next level? What is it about it that's holding you back? Comment on the socials. We out.
Peace.